another 2 weeks because for the quarantine, 2 people they are now this week still in the hotel, right? Quarantine hotel. But the next week they still need to be quarantined at home, and then we won't do this anymore. So everybody will be back to the classroom. And oh yeah, the scan, the QR code. Okay, let's look at our article on the cell phone, on the group, dynamic pricing, and scan the QR code. Please. 开始吗？对 Okay. So you guys in front of the monitor can hear me?
Yes. Good
Okay.
afternoon. Yes.
Cora, how about you?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
The other, how many are there? 2, 4? Okay, good. Okay, so let's look at the article, dynamic pricing. This is a very interesting. Hmm? Yeah. So as I mentioned that before investment, you need to do a fundamental value analysis, which is also called pricing or valuation. Okay, so this article is about flexible or dynamic pricing. Okay, and it's going to flip your opinion or your impression about the price should be fixed. Okay, because it's depend on the supplier and the, who has the demand. Okay, and since price is determined by the final price is determined by the supply and the demand. So whenever the supply or the demand changed, then you can adjust the price. Okay, it doesn't need to be a fixed price. Just like these 2 days is the rainy day. So if you go out on the street in front of SCCU, there is a store selling umbrella. Okay, so the store says the commercial says 晴天8折，雨天 Did you see that? 雨天 what? 雨天没折。Cooper, you understand what I said?
No, I don't know.
晴天 on the shiny days, no discount, but yeah, 20% discount for selling umbrella. But in the rainy days, sorry, no discount because we know you have the demand for umbrella. So I think this is a very practical use or application for the dynamic pricing. So yeah, let's see this. I need someone to ready to lead the discussion. Right. Anyone who volunteer first? What is read? Just speak up. Cooper, please. What did you see? Yes.
So it was the flexible figures one about price adjustment. It's basically talking about optimizing sales and times to increase purchases by people. And one of the interesting parts about it that I noticed is that they're using this real-time price changes or close to real-time price changes to compete with like online retailers. So the actual stores, like in here it mentions Kohl's or something, and like I think it's a furniture store or something, some other store. They check prices against online competitors to try to use that to compete with their online competitors, whereas this flexible pricing was pretty much previously exclusive to the online market. Now it's being applied in actual stores that people can walk into as well.
So they can claim that they are the lowest. They have the lowest price at this moment, or within 10 minutes. And then if you can find some other store with lower price, they can reimburse you, which is okay. But this is a very good commercial for them. Anyone else? Any other else? What about Amazon? Did you read about Amazon? Anyone? What about Amazon? Eugene, did you read it? Or no, Amazon? How often the Amazon change the price?
Every 10 minutes.
Every 10 minutes, which is a surprise to me. I don't know about you. I was thinking in the beginning. I thought it was maybe 3 days, right? So why 10 minutes? Hey, Sheila.
Because of the data they collect. I would assume that like all bigger firms now that do that, like Alibaba, Shopee, Lazada, and Amazon, would adapt their prices as soon as they get enough information to know what the demand currently is.
Yes, because the supply is fixed. Not fixed actually. The competitors, they are competitors, but the consumers who click the web page is changing. It's very volatile. Okay, for example, now we are in class. Okay, after 3 hours, the whole school got dismissed. So many people can go on web page to surf and then maybe do the price comparison. Okay, so at that time, they have to be very precise in the pricing. But now, see, everybody is at work or in school. Okay, so now most people, okay, for example, now say 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. who are at home doing the web surfing, who are at home. 自文 now say now 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. who has the time at home doing surfing? Who are at home doing surfing or price comparison? Someone who working at home. And that's after the pandemic, right? Especially after pandemic. Working at home, the number of working at home increased. And the what else? Who else? Housewives. Retired. Okay, so in addition to people working at home, housewives or retired, they have a lot of time, and then they will do the price comparison all the time. Okay, so they have to do the flexible pricing very often, so 10 minutes. Okay, but after work, okay, we go home, okay, before say 8 p.m. Okay, after the dinner, you serve, and then you probably do not have time because to compare, do the price comparison, because the next day you need to go to school or go to work. So they probably do not change the price that often because depending on who are serving, who are the potential buyers. So the Amazon example is really surprising. Okay, how about someone took the taxi during the hurricane, during the bad climate? Some who can give me an example? Cora, did you read it, Cora?
I'm here. Yes.
Yes. Did you read someone who took the Uber, right?
Uber. Yeah.
Someone took the Uber, right, to the airport. Can you introduce this section to us?
Take a Uber to airport. First, you use the Uber apps
Yes.
and test your location and where you want to go, and wait the drive here.
But how much more expensive did the Uber charge him during
Uber
the
charge?
bad climate? Bad weather.
Actually, I don't know how they charge the driver.
Okay, someone can show us?
It was 8 more times, but I think it was during a storm. So the paper said that somebody took an Uber in New York during storms, and the price was 8-fold, which led to some resistance from the people because it was way too much, and therefore Uber had to cap their surging prices. I think to 3.5 times during storms, because it's like a psychological resistance.
Okay, good. I think he finally accepted. He finally let one who needed to go to the airport, he accepted it, but he was there because the Uber charged him by 8 times more than usual, right? More than usual price. So he then kind of complained to the Uber headquarters. Okay, so the Uber eventually they set a ceiling. They set a upper limit about how much more you can charge, how much more expensive you can charge the customer. It was eventually set at 3 times. So this is also an interesting example to us. So if you do not accept Uber charge you 8 times, but you cannot, and the plus you cannot find a taxi. But the flight, the airplane is flying. If you do not go to the airport, you lose the ticket. Right? It's your business. The flight company said, hey, we are flying. Okay, if you cannot make it, no matter how you do it, you cannot make it to the airport. You lose the ticket. So you are forced to choose between losing the ticket or paying for the Uber 8 times. So he had to accept it. Okay, but he said he complained that this is not fair. Okay, but eventually he accepted. All right. So, in the future, so why did the Uber taxi wanna charge such a high price? Why?
Because people needed it. There's a high demand for
People
it.
needed it. Plus, no surprise.
I mean, there's a storm, right? So people
Yeah.
will not walk. So you have to take a car.
There is no supply. There is a demand. Okay, the demand is there, but there is no other surprise. Because if you want to drive in the storm, like these 2 days, like the storm. Okay, but there is no surprise. Because if you drive on the street, you're taking the risk. Right? The weather, maybe the water, or the slide, the mudslide, whatever. Okay, so they are taking the risk. The drivers are taking the risk. Okay, so in the future, if you take a taxi, if you can find a taxi or even an Uber during the storm day, you have to give the driver a little tip, some extra. Because in Taiwan, if not Uber, but the taxi, they are charging only a fixed fare, right? And you should feel lucky that you can find a taxi to pick it. Okay. How about the seller? Okay. How do they trace your computer to make the different pricing? Anyone? They use the cookie, right? Grace, did you read it, Grace?
Yes.
Did you read it? How about the supplier? Okay, how do they? Okay, you make the order. You make an order. Okay, from online, and how do they charge you different tracing your cookie?
You mean for the airline tickets or just buying online in general?
Oh yeah. You can also talk about airline tickets, frequent flyer, please.
So the airlines actually were charging loyal travelers who were flying more frequently than people that weren't flying as much, because a lot of businesses, when they have their workers fly maybe for business class, they would pay for those workers. So those workers would fly anyways. And so when they're charging, the workers wouldn't mind it so much. So the airline companies could earn more from the companies that were sending their workers out.
Okay. You understand that? Frequent
Yes,
flyer.
because the demand will always be there for the companies who are sending their workers to fly out. And since those workers will not be affected by the prices anyway, since they are not paying it,
That's right.
the airlines feel that it's okay to charge a higher price because that demand will be there anyways, and they will still buy the tickets.
And who is paying?
The company.
The company is paying for the price. For a frequent flyer, we thought, hey, since we are frequent flyer, you have to give me discount. But in reality, the airplane company, they found out that, hey, for those frequent flyers, most of them are business demand, and they are working for a company. They travel for a company. They may be able to accumulate the mileage and then get the discount for their individual. Okay, but the company is paying for it, and there is demand. Okay, so the freight company is taking the advantage of this gap. Okay, that who is taking the freight is not paying, and he is the one who is getting accumulated mileage for himself or herself. Okay, so they are charging frequent flyer higher price than usual price, or than it should be. And for the companies who are paying for the tickets, they eventually caught the higher price charge. Okay, so the underlying reason is this. Okay, so they're so smart. I think the freight company is so smart. Okay, they still doing it. Okay, and as I said, the supplier, okay, online, the supplier online, they are using the cookies to trace you, whether if you are using the Apple computer or using the IBM PC. And for the same product, they charge customer with Apple users higher price. This is unbelievable, because they assume that Apple users they are more wealthy. They can be able to afford higher price. Okay, this is unbelievable. Okay, so this is so in general, I think this article collects a lot of the information about the price should not be fixed for us, and it's kind of humble our impression about a standard price standardization, or in Chinese we always call it 不二价, no second price. That means we should be honest to our customer. But in a lot of situations, look at this. If you are using the 不二价 fixed price, you might lose some more opportunity to earn more profit, which you cannot brand, okay, for the company that's using this kind of dynamic pricing, because this is the match of the supply and demand. I think I'm not sure whether it is in this article. I also read somewhere that they do an experiment about taking a taxi from the airport or from the station, from the railway station. That they told the taxi driver that I'm from. The passenger told the taxi driver about he's a stranger, the first time to visit this city. So please take me somewhere. Okay, please take me to NCC, say from Taoyuan Airport or from Taipei main station. Okay, so if you show the taxi that you are the stranger or you're the first time visitor, usually they got higher taxi fare eventually. I'm not sure whether this is on this article. No, not this one. No, probably on the other one. I'm remembering another article. Okay, so they are actually, for that case, is there the taxi driver is taking the advantage of your ignorance, okay, of your knowing about this price, okay. Because it's more like a taking advantage. We don't want to say it's cheating, okay? Because cheating is too heavy, right? Um, not more serious accused, okay? But more taking advantage of your ignorance. Okay, so this is one interesting article. And the second one, the under Auto Armor, not Under Armour. So Auto Armor, what is it about? It's dated, what's the time? 2016. Okay, anyone wanna that us? Anyone wanna lead us the reading? Out of armor. No more weapons. Essentially, that means they are using up of all kind of weapons. Sheila, how about you? You have time to read it? Out of ammo?
Hello?
Yes, the
Sorry.
second article. Just basic
Sorry,
idea.
Yes. What did you say? Sorry, I hear you badly.
Yes, the second article. Did you read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Partially. I'm kind of confused about it. I understand that it says that like we're basically in a big territory, and that the central banks are trying everything to save the euro, but I don't really understand the article.
Okay, anyone? Cooper, how about this? How about this article?
So the argument is basically that the government has the capability to do stuff in both the United States, the Eurozone, and Japan to increase the economy that simply are not doing it essentially. But there's various policies that they could work with. The thing I don't understand is this is in 2016. I thought the economy was doing fine in 2016. If it was written in like 2008 or something, that's good. Whatever. Anyway, so the argument is that basically the economy is stagnating with the various large economies, but there are things that can still be done.
Not easily should be. The economy was not easily to be raised through all kinds of the other policy tools, right? Because they have used up all the weapons. Reform. Yes. Did you read this one? Okay. Just basic idea all about.
So the article talked about ever since the crisis of 2008. So the central bank is important taxes to stimulate demand, and so they use different kinds of monetary policy, like lower the interest rate and quantitative easy. But the effect is weakening. So article said about they need to let in the help of the government policy, such as the fiscal policy. So the first one we talked about is the helicopter drop to fuse the fiscal and monetary policy together. so it could put the freshly mint cash directly to the people's pocket to encourage people to spend it, not to save it. And there are different kinds of policy to help to boost the economy.
Okay, so the title is out of ammo, means are they running out of weapon? So it's dated 2016. So if you relate this article to the one we discussed, the debt of inflation. Remember there was 2013, 1.3. This is 1.6. So in 2013, it says about the central bank printed a lot of money, increased the money supply, but the inflation is dead. Okay, on the contrary, we saw the deflation or the low consumption. Okay, and then now after another 3 years, not now, I mean then, this article all on it says, hey, I think we are running out of weapons because we lowered the interest rate. We printed the money. All we can do was there. Okay, so what else? So they put a question mark. Are we running out of? Right? Are we running out of the weapons? So this is the continuing scenario from QE. So this is also the reason why the QE policy was not suspended. Okay, even though the Fed always claimed that hey, they need to stop the QE policy. But the president, okay, no matter who was in the presidency, so you saw Donald Trump, okay, when he was running the second term, he said no, you cannot seize the QE policy. Okay, so continuing from 2009, okay, to Donald Trump's second campaign, the QE policy continues. That was even just 2 years ago, okay, before the pandemic, okay, and then of course the economy was not revived, okay, as we expected, even though we are using all kind of the policy tools. Okay, so we missed. So we wanna reintroduce the QE policy about the QE infinity. So remember we talked about QE policy. QE1 and the QE2. QE2. QE. So this is from 2009. Okay, so next time we compare the gold price versus QE policy. So we see the close relation between QE policy and the gold price, because we remember that there is no fundamental value of gold. So it's just the gold price is just determined by the supply and the demand. And since they're supposed in the short term the supply is constant, okay, but what determines the majority of the price of the gold? The money, right? So the money is like the level of the water. All right. So QE1 and QE2 is the Fed to buy the mortgages, okay, or bonds or other assets. From banks and assets, balance sheet. From banks' balance sheet. Okay, so this is or we can call it liquid, to liquidate the bank's asset. Okay, but for the banking industry, they are still afraid of the market. Okay, the market was dead at that time. So until QE1, they do it again, repeat it. They expand the scale. Okay, but the economy was not lifted so significant. So they eventually use the QE3, which is to cut the rediscount rate. To almost 3, which is 0.25%. So the rediscount rate, we need to know the definition, which is the banking industry to borrow from the Fed, and the cost of the borrowing, which is the cost of the borrowing that the banking industry paying for the bank, or paying for the Fed or the central bank, which is almost free. That means if the bank lend out for 2%, okay, the bank is paying only 0.25%, and the bank is earning 1.70%, which is a very good deal, very lucrative business. Okay, so after QE3, the economy slightly climb up. Okay, because it gave the banking industry some real incentive to take the risk to resume its business. Okay, but the economy, of course, rose a little bit better than QE1 and QE2, but not as well as expected. Okay. So the economists compare this time with 1929 or 1930, the Great Depression. Okay, after the Great Depression, the economy rose significantly, but this time it was pretty slow. So I will send you another article about why. Anyone want to take a wild guess why it was so slow. But in comparison, why the Great Depression, the after 1930, why the economy rose so steep? Anyone?
In the 1930s,
Yes. After
after
1930,
the
it
war,
was rose so quickly, but this time it was so slow
well, because of the war, everything was destroyed.
because of the war. Maybe it is different. So does you mean we need another war? Like why Cooper is here?
Another good war, though. Not another war on terror. Not a good war.
Not what kind of the good war? Trade war?
We're fine.
Hopefully not a real war, but trade war is fine. It's especially trade war. China and the U.S. trade war is benefit. Has do some benefit to Taiwan. Or I should say that the new national security law is doing some benefit to Taiwan because some capital, some business, they transfer from Hong Kong to Taiwan, right? Cora, you are in Hong. Oh, now you're from Hong Kong. So, anyone want to take a guess why this time was so slowly as compared to 1930? I'll let you think. But I will send you another article about why this. So they drew a graph showing, the article showing the difference between this time, the growth of the difference of the growth of this time and versus 1930. And this time the slope was very, even though it's positive, but it's kind of flattened. But the slope after the 1930 was very quick. It was very steep. Okay. So my question. Okay, write it down. Why economic growth after the QE in 2009 was slower than that of 1930. Which is Great Depression. Because a lot of article or economists they are comparing this time with Great Depression because it was a worldwide tsunami. Okay. And then there was before pandemic. So after the pandemic, COVID-19, yes, by you two of you, Sheila and Cora, you are still in the hotel, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
the next week you need to be in the dorm, right?
I'm in the hotel until Sunday, and then it's one more week.
One more week to in the dorm.
Yeah, I think until 24th, I think.
Until 24th. You
Yes,
found
I
a
think-
dormitory?
What?
You found a dormitory. Where you are
Oh, I
going to
live
live?
in an apartment.
Oh, you okay? But you need to stay in the your apartment
Yeah, I can stay in my apartment.
till what time?
I'm sorry, what?
Until another week,
I think
right? For another
until
week.
24th. So I can attend classes, I think, on the 26th.
26.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is because of the pandemic. So after the pandemic, they launched QE Infinite or QE Infinity, which is a very good policy. Anyone wanna introduce us what the QE Infinity is? Anyone? Lots of people think it's a unlimited QE or continuing QE. Not 100% correct. Anyone? 子音. You don't have any idea? No? Cooper, this is your country's policy. Do you have any idea?
Not really. I think the policy is just keep spending money that we don't have.
Yeah, of course. The Fed and the government is spending money. How about grains or sugar? You have any idea how the QE infinity is?
I don't actually know what that's supposed to be. The policy.
How about Cora or Grace?
I'm still thinking.
Okay. It's a very important policy. I think it's make up the gap of the security market and deter the panic psychology for the financial market or for the investors. First, okay, repeat. QE1, so QE3. Continue. But the second part is the most important or the major difference, which is to buy good companies. Good cooperation, which means they are rated grade A. Good corporations, debt. Which means corporate bond. Okay. To issue or newly issued or going to mature. Or newly issued. Or to issue. What does it mean? If you are Microsoft, because of the pandemic, a lot of investors, they got the panic. And they are going to sell Microsoft bonds and stock. Okay? This is unfair. Microsoft is a good company. Okay? But why should my stock be dumped or dropped? The price dropped because of the pandemic. So the Fed will buy my bond if I newly issue. So I will have the capital. to purchase my stock outstanding. So I can hold up the stock price without being dumped or being originally facing the selling pressure. Okay? Or to buy good corporations ETF. ETF is the fund for some good basket, some fund of the good corporations as a basket or pool. Okay, so that means also the Fed is using the capital to direct intervene in the market, no matter through the bond or through the ETF. That means this is a direct financing. Direct financing. As for QE1 to QE3, this is indirect financing. What do you mean indirect? Through no matter what you do, you are through the banking industry. You are channeling the capital through the banking industry. So it's up to the banks whether they are going to do it or not. And they have to find a right borrower, or they should scrutinize. They should do the due diligence. Oh, hey, where are you going to pay me back in the future? And then I'll lend you the money. This is very slow. For this, for the second part, I buy your bond. Okay, you are the good company. I buy the bond you're going to issue. You have the money. You can go to the stock market to rescue your own, to bail out. Not, we don't want to say bail out, to rescue the stock price. Over here, I'm going to do this directly. So this is a direct financing. So what, besides, I channel the capital direct to you, to the company. This is it. And the best, the most significant effect I think is to twist the psychology from panic to optimistic, to avoid panic psychology. Psychology. To avoid the panic psychology. Because you know, even as long as there is a panic, you are doing something irrational. Investors, they dump whatever they have. They don't care. Okay, because another tsunami is coming. Okay, so the economy suddenly stopped. Okay, we do the quarantine. Okay, the whole city got locked down. Okay, we need to be isolated at home. Okay, only people who has a dog can go out to walk the dog. Right? So this is it. So remember that the QE infinity is totally different. Okay? Not just a limited QE policy, but also a direct financing. in the capital channels to directly to the operations. And I think this is a very good policy tool to change the so-called the lack of the firewall in the security market. I will discuss this more later. Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break. So this is a very important tool to provide the firewall of panic in the security market. Okay, let's take 10 minutes break.